On today's Taste Texas, Chef Garth is making sizzled pork chops that'll melt in your mouth. Plus, we're making a visit to Big Tree Ranch where we meet Buffy the water buffalo.
Buffy here is showing us how it's all done.
She's pretty sweet.
Whoa! And one more thing, bacon. I'll say no more. Just pull up a chair and join us at the table.
And I'm Chef Garth Blackburn.
Are you sure about that?
I'm a chef today.
Chef Garth Blackburn.
You got
it's
it.
Great to meet you.
That's my middle name.
What are you making today?
We're going to do some sizzled pork chops. We're going to brine those. We're going to serve them on some polenta. And then for a little sweet, we're going to braise a pear in some Pinot Noir or poached.
Ooh, sounds good.
So yeah, a little arugula on the top. And let's go ahead and get started with the pork. Pork chops are inherently a little bit tough, and so we're going to brine them.
Yeah.
And what better dish to brine them in than my birthday present this year, which was a casserole dish. But since chefs don't make casseroles, I decided to go ahead and use this
So
to
that's what you're going to do with my casserole dish. I see. All right, I'm glad you're using it anyway. That's
Why don't
awesome.
you grab some of that honey?
All right.
This is apple cider.
And then how much of this do you want?
We're going to go with about 2 to 3 tablespoons.
Oh,
Okay,
goodness.
that's good.
We'll be here a while. Is that good?
Yeah, that's
All right.
good. All right, and grab some of that tamari. This is a substitute for soy sauce, so it's gluten-free.
Oh,
You
I
can use
need to
regular
get some
soy
of
sauce
this.
if you want to. But the reason I like this is that normally for a brine, you have a lot of salt in there, so you have to
Right.
boil it and then cool it and then brine it. But soy sauce is almost all salt.
How much of this do you want?
Quite a bit. So
Okay,
for
good.
my recipe, we're going to do about 12 ounces of the apple cider and close to the same of the tamari.
Is that good?
And then for sure, a little bit of acidity. This is the Texas Olive Ranch. This is their black and white vinegar. And now we'll just
Lots of
brine these
vinegar.
up.
Okay, so when you say brine, what do you, can you
It means it's
explain
going to
that?
soak in salt water, and the salt, and sugar as well. And the salt will start to break down the tough part of the meat, and it will actually get absorbed into the meat. So if you cut into a steak and the outside's really salty and the inside's not, I mean, with steak, that's fine because it's pretty tender. But pork, especially pork loin or bone-in pork chops, are going to be pretty tough. So that's going to start to break down that meat.
Okay.
It's going to make it a lot more tender.
Do we need to cover this and stick it in the fridge for a while?
Right, for 2 to 4 hours
Okay.
is about how long it's going to take to really get the juices flowing in there and to get the salt to absorb.
All right. Glad that casserole's getting put to work.
That's my raw pork casserole.
We are
right
going to
there.
get a casserole out of that thing one day, I promise.
One way or the
Oh,
other.
you're handing me the knife
Go
again.
ahead and cut that in half.
Such a
I
brave
know
guy.
from previous shows, this is the time for me to step back.
Oh, all right, we
I won't
got
make
it.
a comment about gender, but she talks with her hands, and when there's a knife in one of those hands, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, so you can set the knife down.
Okay.
And now you're going to use a melon ball. We're going to scrape the seeds out.
Okay. I would just cut them out with a knife is what I would do, but since you have this fancy little tool, there we go.
Perfect.
Perfect little.
So drop that in here.
Okay.
Well, she was proud of
Awesome.
herself. Let's see how perfect that was. I didn't mean to skim over that. Did we get a good close-up of that
I
one?
wanted the camera to see how
I'm sorry.
perfect. Oh, and again, 2 times.
2 for 2.
Nice. Okay, thank you. You
All
read
right,
my mind. Oops. I'll be back. Okay.
We're going to drop this into that pot over there.
Yes.
Now, here later in the show, we're going to have some delicious Pinot Noir. I don't want to cook with a delicious Pinot Noir. I'm going to use just a standard table wine.
I don't want you to
Gotta wash
splash
that
me.
blouse.
Right. There we go.
Okay, we're going to crank up the heat now. The other option, as we always say, is that you could use wine that was left over from the night before.
Yeah.
My house, I think it's like yours. I never have wine left over from the night before. So
Actually, I do, but I save it for the next night.
that's a good excuse for me to open another bottle.
Right.
This is blood orange, really dark in color. That's the reason I like it. It's going to add even more color.
What
So once you squeeze that
What'd you
other
do to
one-
that? How'd you do that?
I didn't make it that way. That's how
Oh.
it comes off the tree.
It's like,
oh, bleeding.
I'm like, you are so cool. You could make that. No, okay. I give you too much credit, I guess.
For cutting myself while cutting an orange and it becomes a blood orange.
Right. Okay. How's that?
Good. You start to smell that?
Yeah.
It smells delicious.
Yep, that's perfect.
Why don't you grab that brown sugar, the cinnamon stick, and that vanilla bean pod.
So how much sugar is that? About a quarter cup?
That's a quarter of a cup. This is Blake's Desert Creek honey.
Love that, Blake. Okay, and here's your,
Go ahead and drop the whole thing in.
oh, you're not
Well,
gonna.
it really infused the flavor in it.
Awesome.
We're going to take that up to a boil. We're going to then simmer it for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then ideally, you're going to let it soak overnight.
Oh, overnight. We got
If
a lot
you
of
can.
soaking going on here. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll come back with more good stuff. Well, if you like bone-in pork chops, we got a great recipe going on here. We're gonna start putting things together a little further. What are we gonna do next?
We're going to start making the polenta. And on the polenta, one of my favorite things to add to it is a lot of cheese. I think polenta is such a neutral base. No better cheese to add than some fresh mozzarella.
Yes.
And fresh mozzarella really should be coming from Water Buffalo.
Water Buffalo. So we got to visit a really cool guy named Kevin out at Big Tree Ranch with a lot of water buffalo. Y'all take a look. We're at Big Tree Ranch today learning all about water buffalo.
And Buffy here is showing us how it's all done.
It's pretty sweet. Whoa.
And what do you notice the difference between the water buffalo versus a regular cow?
In far as the milk,
Right, as far as the milk.
oh, the butter fat is so much higher. See, on the water buffalo, the butter fat's somewhere between 8 and 9%.
As opposed to,
Cow, 3 to 4.
So it's a heavier milk? Is it like a heavy cream?
Right, real heavy.
I mean, at least what I found for fresh mozzarella or burrata, which has the cream on the inside of the cheese, was only available from Italy. And in Italy, I believe it had to come from water buffalo to call it burrata.
Well, see, true mozzarella has to come from water buffalo.
Is that also the case in the U.S.?
As long as it's got a minute portion of water buffalo milk, you can call it mozzarella. Yeah, the last one I got a kick out of it. The label said mozzarella cheese with a kiss of water buffalo. They're highly intelligent. As you noticed when you pulled up, they saw a strange vehicle. They wouldn't react that way with just my regular vehicle.
Now, by strange vehicle, you mean a beautiful Crest Cadillac Escalade.
gonna say.
To be clear.
Maybe it was the writing that scared him off.
Could be.
The differences in them, one thing is that they're a herd animal and they're grazers and browsers. In other words, like on this river bottom, you can kick them out in that and they clean it up, clean up the low-lying brush and that sort of thing. And they enjoy the water.
Are they friendly or are they kind of mean?
They're protective. Cow with a newborn calf can get very protective.
How come we don't hear about them more?
There's just not a whole lot of them in the U.S. and then, the reason why is, I don't know. I guess that's why we're here today.
I'm out. I'm gonna get you some more. I'll be right back.
This is now my favorite field shoot ever.
Bye, Garth.
Bye, y'all.
Happy trails. And so, as you can tell, Garth's dream every time we go on location is to actually get on one of these animals and just ride it. That's all he wants to do. Is he just wants to ride a big animal. He doesn't care what it is.
It's Texas. I mean, that's just part of the whole package.
So finally, we can check that one off the bucket list, right, Garth?
And you as well.
And me too.
Whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah, it was fun. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great learning so much from Kevin about all the
Good old
details
Buffy.
about Buffy herself and all the water buffalo.
That's right.
So the base for the polenta, I'm actually going to use some Texas mushrooms. So this is the grapeseed oil.
Uh-huh.
And see how clean those are?
Yeah.
Big difference between mushrooms that you're going to get fresh and local, if at all possible, or at least from the state of Texas. A lot cleaner, a lot fresher tasting. We're also going to sear the pork chops, so why don't you put a little bit of the grapeseed oil down in our pan.
Okay. All
Now
right.
the pork has already been salted, right? That was from the
Been
tamari that was
sitting
in
for
there.
a while.
Several hours, at least 2 to 4 hours. Okay, and you're going
You
to
need to drain-
carefully
oops,
drain that onto the
shoot.
floor.
All right, I'm trying my best, all right?
Y'all have the rule at home that if you cook, your spouse cleans, and that's great, as long as that includes the floor.
I'm really making a mess over here. That's okay, it's gonna taste really good. It doesn't matter how mess I make, right? Garth is a great kitchen cleaner.
So we're gonna sizzle it on high heat, get a really crispy crust. One of the things that, again, I think restaurants excel at is getting that caramelization. Well, the honey that we put in here and that apple cider, quick shortcut for you guys getting caramelization at home.
Yeah.
Where you can wrap it up really quick.
Sure,
So
that looks great.
why don't you toss those mushrooms back there?
Oh, Garth, come on now. This might be, okay, hold on.
So far, every mushroom is still in the, whoa.
Wait! We're not gonna have any left if I keep going. Are
So we
done?
decided not to use mushrooms in the polenta.
One more for good measure. All right.
One
No,
more
I'll
out
eat
of the
rest.
pan.
Here.
If you smell
Put those back
burning, that's
in.
the mushroom that's down there by the burner.
We can clean up real quick. It's all right.
And
Mom's not here. She didn't care.
she's watching though. We're gonna put some Milk King milk in there, or you can use cream, or you can use half and half. We're gonna take that up to heat. We're gonna add our polenta and then work in that water buffalo mozzarella. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna have more good things when we come back. Y'all stay with us. Lots of sizzle going on here. Sizzle here, sizzle there. This is about ready.
Lots of sizzle. Let's take a look at the polenta. This is so easy to do. If you
Okay.
want to start stirring, I'm gonna whisk, or you'll whisk this in while I pour it in. This is instant polenta, so Southern households are all about grits. I agree with that. Grits are the same thing, only this is creamier. So if y'all don't like grits because they're a little bit gritty, then that's
Perfect.
gonna be your solution.
Perfect word for grits.
Gritty.
Gritty. Get it?
It's another new word. Here, I decided to branch out and use one of your other favorite appliances for this corn. I cut off the
Yeah?
bottom of it and then I microwaved it for 45 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And then if you just squeeze the base of it, this
Yeah.
is the easiest way to get the husk off. So you just pull it out from the bottom side. So all the silk that was on there, and now comes right off.
Jimmy Craig corn and
I don't care. All right, so we're gonna put that in. That's gonna add some sweetness
This
to the
is getting
polenta.
really thick.
And we can add more cream to it as we go, or half and
Yeah.
half, or milk,
Or butter.
or butter.
All
But we've
the
got the cheese.
above.
Take a look at this. So here's where we'll get even more
Oh
of the
my
cream.
gosh.
This is burrata. It can only be made from water buffalo. And as I peel into it,
Yes.
the center of it, that's all cream. Just gonna drop
I'm
that
gonna have to
in.
work out an extra 2 weeks just for
Doesn't that
this
look
thing right
delicious?
here, and I will do it.
So that's our polenta.
worth it.
The pork chops are finishing up. The pears will be done in just a matter of minutes, and we'll just
Awesome.
reduce that liquid down. And this is really, to me, how it kind of all comes together. So-
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
and we are gonna add some salt and pepper to this.
Okay. You know what I think would be delicious with this whole meal
What's that?
is some amazing wine from Sonoma County. And because I'm thinking that, I would love to introduce everybody to a good friend of ours, Mr. Kerry Pearce with the band Jacko Pearce.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you. This is Garth.
Carrie.
Looks awesome.
Hey.
I brought you something.
I heard you had this, and I was like, oh, we got to try that, and this is the perfect meal.
This is awesome.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit of that polenta.
You are. So tell us about what you've been up to.
Well, we're celebrating 25 years of Jacko Pearce, if you can believe that.
I can't believe that.
Which is really exciting. And this is something that we've been in the works for, gosh, 4 or 5 years. We started going out to Sonoma and playing shows at wineries and stuff and doing all kinds of destination shows and just fell in love with Russian River. And so about a year and a half ago, we were doing an event out in wine country, and some guy said, that's what I do. I help guys like you create a wine. And so we just went back and forth with tasting and worked on kind of for my palate what I like, things that I like, and we designed this wine, and it just exceeded all my expectations.
And how'd you go with the name Weather?
We have a song called Weather, which is all about a guy trying to get home to his family through all the tough weather, and kind of talks about how Pinot is such a tough grape to grow and it has to have perfect weather conditions, so it just seemed to fit perfectly with the whole thing we were trying to create.
So you're not a wine maker, you're a wine drinker. Who knows what he likes, right?
I know.
To me, that's the key, isn't it?
It's so funny. Things like this, I become the winemaker. If nobody else is around, if the guys aren't around, the real guys from Napa aren't around, then I become the winemaker. But yeah, in essence, we've got a great team. Truchard and Peached, two big wine families came together. Some of the younger guys came together and formed a company to put these kind of wines out.
This is awesome. I can't wait to try this. But Carrie, I have a quick question for you. How cruel are you with just like cold things, like just a cold, quick something off the cuff?
Like ice bucket challenge? I've had enough of that so far.
Turn this way. Like, let me show you how cold. Like cold.
Hey, what better use for a Sub-Zero refrigerator than to store
I waited
the
my whole life to do
Texas
this.
guitar?
So basically, I've been storing this for you because I was hoping you could just play us out into commercial break.
This is stone cold rock and roll, man.
One of your own little songs. If you just play us to break, would you?
And I'm free. Thank God I'm free.
Awesome.
This is so unrehearsed.
And that's why we let
And it's
you.
still in tune, very cold. I love it.
Awesome. We'll be back with more things for y'all. We'll be right back.
That's cold. That's real cold.
It's a Sub-Zero.
That is cold.
Okay, what better thing to go with seafood or to go with any food than bacon? And I figured out a way to doctor it up even more by making a Parmesan crust for it. It's gonna be awesome, and the best part is you'll be able to use it for lots of different applications. Okay, I'm using quinoa flour. You don't have to spend that much money or get something that fancy. You can absolutely use regular flour. I like it because it's gluten-free, but more importantly, it doesn't cake as much. So we're gonna put a little flour into the bowl. That'll be the first one. Next, we've got a pasture-raised egg. We'll put that into the bowl. And finally, we've got a mixture of 2 parts panko breadcrumb to 1 part Parmesan cheese. That's gonna create this delicious crust once it goes into the oven and gets all crunchy on the outside, delicious bacon center, can't beat it. All right, now we're starting with some Hamilton, Texas apple smoked bacon. It's a thick cut, tossing it in that flour. That'll dry it off. We're gonna put it into the egg. That's gonna be the glue for our crust. And the crust is going to be that mixture of panko breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. So we'll put that all in, get it nice and crusted, lay it out on our sheet tray. And we're gonna bake that at 375 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, and it's gonna be a delicious, crunchy, Parmesan crusted bacon. Okay, now we're gonna make a very simple puree of avocado, a little bit of lime. This can be used for several different items as well. We can turn this into a salad dressing for whatever's left over. So 1 large avocado, half of a lime juiced, 2 tablespoons of water, and we'll do a pinch of salt. And we're gonna puree this until it's nice and smooth. Put that into a Ziploc bag. We can use that to pipe with, and now we've got a great combo. Okay, now 3 different ways to use this finished product. You can even have done this ahead of time, put it in the freezer, pull it back out, re-crisp it in the oven, but let's take a look at how we can use it. So I'm gonna cut it into small pieces. This is a great hors d'oeuvre. I'll just take 3 pieces, I'm gonna spread them out, and I'm going to pipe avocado between each section, use a little bit to anchor it. Awesome hors d'oeuvre. Next up, croutons. Sprinkle those on your salad, a great crunchy, delicious bacon addition. And finally, I can take some fresh Gulf shrimp, dip them into a little bit of Greek yogurt, crust them on the outside with that chopped up mixture of the Parmesan crusted bacon. And now I've got 3 different delicious applications, all from the same piece.
Our good friend Carrie to work. He's going to actually help us play, and you're going to pour us some fine wine. I mean,
yeah, I'm really good at this part. So.
Oh, no.
What?
Part of the artistic thing is you plating it up as well.
You want to plate it up?
Yeah.
Oh, this is me?
This is all
okay, what are
him?
you going to do?
Wait, I want my wine. Can I drink while he plays?
First, where's the plate? Is this the plate that
That's
I'm plating?
the plate.
Okay.
Oh, it's the plate.
Is there a...
You want a serving? You're not going to make him use his hands, no.
That would be an Amy thing to do, right?
So
Yeah,
I'm
we
doing
need
this.
to probably move that wine so everybody can see how
We're doing
gorgeous
the,
this thing is.
We'll switch roles.
We're doing
like
Carrie,
this.
can we? Yeah.
Just make it a big platter, however you want to do it. Pull out the
Go
artistic
for it, Carrie.
side, Carrie. Come on.
It's all
Okay,
you,
we're gonna put
Carrie.
a pork chop on each one of these things. Kind
Awesome.
of like a little island.
Oh, I like your.
Islands in the stream.
There you go.
That is what we are.
Yeah, that's right. No one in between.
No one in between.
How could we be wrong?
How? That's good.
Sail away with me
Sail away with me.
to
Another world.
and we rely on each other. Car's gonna drink. Does that
Y'all
mean
keep singing.
Does that mean you
Golly,
don't like
Was
our
I supposed
singing?
to say cheers?
Okay.
Awesome,
right, so
Carrie, you're
what's
so
next,
creative.
Carrie?
I love your artistic side.
Dude, come
Those
down
are
here.
large
Oh, there you go.
tongs. Oh, there you go.
My dad's favorite joke is, hey, you smell these? You smell really strange.
Talking about tongs or like his finger?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The tongs.
Hey, by the way, this is really good.
Yeah, that's good wine. I'm glad you're working.
Yeah, I've not got
Thank
it.
you for coming to our studio and working for us
My
as,
pleasure. This
as our
is-
guest.
This
And
is
bringing
really
the
good.
wine.
This is
And
really
bringing
good.
the wine. This is the way we roll, Carrie. You
is the
see?
We have a little compote over there. Is that what we call it?
Oh, that's not bad.
It's good, isn't it?
I was talking about the reference to the compote.
I'm happy.
mine?
I'm so happy. I've been waiting on this wine.
Oh,
Carrie, it's
That's
fantastic. And it's called
Oh.
Weather. It's called Weather.
Oh, that
Got to
tastes
remember
good.
that, whether you want to or not.
Cheers.
man, that tastes great. Thank you.
you so much for coming
Golly.
and playing a little for us, and tell everybody about your new album you have coming out.
It's already out. It's commemorated our 25 years together.
I can't
We
believe
recorded
it.
it at the Winspear Opera House last year, and it's called Live 25. It's a lot of fun. It's with just solo acoustic, the two of us, and with a full band. But the exciting news is that we're also playing October 22nd. We're playing in Clyde Warren Park for a free show with the Dallas Symphony.
Awesome.
First time to ever do a symphony show, so we're really excited about that.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to be playing with the symphony orchestra, I can't even imagine how electric that's going to feel for you and for the audience.
It's one of the coolest things we've ever done. We've never played with the symphony. It could be 4,000 people out there since it's free, and you'll be catering backstage, I hope.
I will be playing. If you're bringing the wine,
Gosh,
I'm
I'm going to be introducing y'all that night, so
Oh, cool.
it'll be a fun festival yet again. Bring the wine though, please.
Oh, the wine will be all over the park. It'll be in the
All
park.
over the park.
Yeah, it'll be everywhere.
I will definitely be there.
Awesome.
He's in. Garth, thank you so much. Should we just? I am dying to taste. Can I just have a little bite real quick of this grit thing you got going on
This is,
here? The grit.
The grit thing.
And I want to tell everybody real quick while he's finishing up that you can always download our recipes, get it? At tastetexastv.com. Also, we are always on social media, which is Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And that's Taste Texas TV as well. So we're easy to find, and we'd love to hear from you. All the feedback, positive and negative. Yes, we want to hear from
Send
you.
that to her.
Thanks for joining us. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next time.